Okay, let's look at the homework 3.4, number 4. All right. So the area of this pasture is fixed at 217,800 square meters. Right. So let's write the expression for that. So area is simply, since it's a rectangular shape, base times height, which is x times y. Right. So this is supposed to be equal to 217,800, right? So we can just divide through by x to solve for y. So divide through by x so that the y can be isolated. So y is equal to 217,800 over x. Right. Then what we want to minimize is the amount of fencing. So amount of facing, so I'll call it the capital F, is going to be, all right, so you can see x and also 2 y's, right? And since we can write the y as 217,800, so we're going to plug this guy in here. Right, so you will get, let's see, x is x, right, plus 2 times that, so that's going to be 435,600 over x, right? Then, so we want to minimize this amount of fencing. So we want to minimize this function f. And f is actually a function of x. So f of x. All right, let's do that. So we take the derivative to find the critical numbers. So capital F prime of x, which is equal to, derivative of x is 1, right? Derivative of that is, it's going to be negative. So remember, 1 over x is x to the negative 1. So put the negative sign in front, and you have a 435,600. Then subtract 1 from the power. So negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. So you have x squared on the bottom, right? If you set that equal to 0, right, then we can solve for x. So let's see, first thing we should do is multiply both sides by x squared. So you have x squared minus 435,600, right, is equal to 0, right? Then we subtract, actually add 435,600 to both sides. You have x squared is equal to 435,600. Right? Then we can just take the square root of both sides to get x equals, right? It's going to be a plus or minus square root of 435,600, right? I'm going to cheat a bit, so let's see, actually I did that before, but let's see, 435,600, right? Then if you take the square root of that, it's 660, so that's going to be equal to plus or minus 660, all right? Then we know that the x is the length, so we never talk about a negative value, and we can't have a 0, then area is going to be 0. So x is always between, x has to be at least greater than 0. Right? So x has to be any positive real number. Right, so let's look at the number line so that we can find out the shape of the f function. Right, so here's the number line. So start from 0, not including 0. Right, critical number happened to be 660, and we don't have to worry about the negative version because that's not on here, and we don't talk about negative length. So here, so 660 is the critical number. Right, then if you look at the sign of f prime, right, so we can try something, anything smaller than f prime, so sorry, smaller than 660. So I'll just try 1 or something like that. Right, you can see that if you plug in 1 in the derivative, 1 minus 435,600 over 1 square, it's going to be way negative, so it's going to be negative there. So you have a negative sign there. Right? If you try something bigger than 660, so you can see that this guy is going to be less than 1, which means that it's going to be positive. So we can try f prime of, I'll just put a random number, say 1000 or something like that. Then you see that it's going to be positive. Right? So you have a positive sign. Right? So the function is decreasing before 660, and after that it's increasing after 660. So which means that you're going to have a minimum at this point. Minimum. All right. So when x equals 660, right, the amount of fencing is minimum, so get the right number, and y can be found by using this formula right here. Right, just plugging in, so 660 for x, so it's at 217,800 over 660. All right, so pull out the calculator. All right, so it's 217,800, right, divided by 660. That will give us 330. So 330. So therefore x is 330 meters, and which is the right answer. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.